Unit 5.3, we do practice. Blue food coloring can be oxidized by household bleach to form colorless products as represented by the equation below. A student used a spectrophotometer set at a wavelength of 635 nanometers to study the absorbance of the food coloring over time during the bleaching process. In the study, bleach is present in large excess so that the concentration of OCl- is essentially constant throughout the reaction. The student used the data from the study to generate the graphs below. Part A asks, based on the graphs below, what is the order of the reaction with respect to the blue food coloring? So in order to determine the order of the reaction, let's take a closer look at the graphs. So our first graph is absorbance versus time. Our second graph is the natural log of absorbance versus time. And the third graph is the inverse of absorbance over time. So we haven't dealt with graphs that have absorbance versus time with respect to our order of reactions, so our zero, first, and second order reactions. We've only dealt with graphs that have concentration on the y-axis. So the first thing we have to acknowledge is that these graphs are using Beer's law that states that absorbance is directly proportional to concentration. So we can treat absorbance, in this case on the y-axis, the same way that we would treat concentration. So now we're looking for that linear relationship, and we can very clearly and easily and quickly see that graph 2 is the only graph that has a linear relationship between the two axes, between the natural log of the absorbance and time. And since we have the natural log of absorbance versus time giving us a linear relationship, we know that the order of the reaction with respect to the blue food coloring must be first order, because first order is going to give us a linear relationship when we graph the natural log of concentration versus time. Or in this case, because absorbance is directly proportional to concentration, it's also, first order is also going to give us a linear relationship when we graph the natural log of absorbance versus time. So this reaction, the order of this reaction with respect to the blue food coloring is going to be first order.